Hey y'all, it's me. It's your girl. And you already know. Like, share, and subscribe. What's up, real deal? How y'all doing out there? I know y'all feel good. I know you're doing good. You're staying positive, right? But look, we're gonna jump into a case that I started on. Then I got so busy with my other update cases until I'm about to bounce back, even though this case has completed. But I'm gonna give y'all the top version of my case that I like the most in this particular trial. This is Travis Rudolph. Yes, this is his trial. University of Florida, Florida State University. I'm sorry, football player. Yes. I want y'all to determine, determine whether he's was the aggressor in this case, in this murder case. Not in this case, uh, was he a victim? That's what I want y'all to choose. Y'all, my jury. We all us juries, you know what I mean? I'll be the judge, y'all be the jury. So in the chat over here, real deal. Those who watching, you a real deal too, because you're watching. I want you to put your reaction over here in the chat. Okay. Now, day 3 is one of my important days. Okay, I'm gonna start with this one. Day 3 of the murder trial of former Florida State University football player Travis Rudolph began. It started on a Friday. Okay, the attorney both sides has presented opening statement Wednesday. One casting that Rudolph as the aggressor and the other insisting he was the victim. Okay, that's why I asked you all. I'm gonna let y'all determine that. Rudolph, who played briefly in the NFL, is charged with murder and 3 counts of attempted murder in connection with a fatal shooting outside of his Lake Park home 2 years ago. Okay, 4 men appeared. Now you're gonna see this. Okay, 4 men appeared on Rudolph's doorstep shortly after midnight on April the 7th, 2021, to confront him about a dispute he had with his girlfriend hours earlier. The dispute turned violent. Rudolph said, and he armed himself with an AR 15. Okay, you're going to see this. Okay, day 1, Rudolph's girlfriend calls threatening text a horrible mistake. Okay. Day 2 recap. Man who confronted Travis Rudolph describes front yard brawls on the second day of murder trial. Okay. So what we're gonna do? The prosecutor that you're gonna see in a minute told juries Wednesday that the men were trying to flee in a black Cadillac by the time Rudolph fired 39 rounds in their direction, killing Sebastian Jeans in the passenger seat. Rudolph asked Circuit Judge Jeffrey Gillen to dismiss the case last year on the basis of Florida stands your ground law. They came on his push out. They came in his house, real deal, which permits the user of a deadly force to protect against either death or great bodily harm. That's what I want y'all to determine in a few seconds. Okay. Now we're gonna turn into this video. Okay. Don't forget to stand your ground. They can't 4 or 5 guys showing up at your house. All right. Here we go.
Okay. Probably, yeah. Yes, yeah, we'll do it that way. Everybody here? And they all signed in? Perfect. Thank you. It's more important that the jury see that. That's fine. I can, and I typically do peek around, so that's fine. It's, I'm always curious to see which way people use the pointer. Almost everyone does it backwards. Yeah, you should use yeah, that's the right way. I think yesterday, the only person who got it right was our first witness, Mr. Lowe. Or I think he was first.
During the trial of not of the jury of you guys and the proceedings.
Yeah. So long as you do not take any images of jurors and so long as you take no recordings, make no recordings, then yes. All right? Oh, yes, stills only. I think so, yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Estes, I'm gonna give you this pointer, okay? And if you can speak into that microphone, I believe it's on.
Yes.
Oh,
So
and
now,
Mr. Estes, watch your back because it's difficult for you. All the jurors have to be able to see.
why don't you stand right here?
Sorry about that.
Can you still see if you stand right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now this is T Drive, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and do you see your house on this street?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, where's your house?
Right here.
Right here?
Yeah, with a
Okay.
swim pool.
Okay, and where is Mr. Rudolph's house?
Right here.
Okay. You can have a seat right now.
Thank you, sir. Just watch your step.
So now, do you know Mr. Rudolph's family?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And have you developed some sort of, let's say, a relationship with them, a friendship, like a neighborly type of friendship with them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And have you done things for them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, like what?
Miss Linda, Travis's mom, asked me to do odd and end stuff around the house.
Mm-hmm.
She brought me supper over to my house a couple of times when my wife was away. We just neighborly.
Okay. And so would you describe the relationship as cordial, friendly, and as you just indicated, neighborly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I want to direct, and what about your relationship with her children? Mr. Rudolph, you said you identified Travis Rudolph. Do you know of any other children that may live in the house that Miss Linda has?
DJ.
Okay. And have you seen them at the residence?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you friendly with Travis Rudolph and DJ?
I probably more with DJ. I've seen DJ more. I mean, I've waved and said hey to Travis, you know, back and forth, but I've never really sit down and had a conversation with him. DJ, I have.
So I want to direct your attention to April 6th of 2021.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And before we get to what you saw happening that night in the front yard, I want to direct your attention to earlier in the day. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall seeing Travis Rudolph with someone he was dating outside of his house, having an argument or whatever they were doing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, the person that you saw, had you seen this person before at the residence?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you're familiar with her?
I know her.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I have never said hey to her or talked to her.
Okay. But you've seen her there before?
Yes, ma'am.
And the day of the incident, had you seen her there earlier in the day? If you recall.
I don't know what time during the day. I seen them when they were outside arguing.
Okay. And what is your recollection of that argument? What did you see going on?
Just, you know, it wasn't a good day for me, period. You know, that morning, somebody, a best friend of mine right down the street died.
Sorry.
You know, and then I heard that and it's like, oh no, not again. You know, because they're time to time, they go at it out in the front yard and stuff. And that day, I mean, it was just normal yelling and going on. And she kept calling him a broke bitch. And I'm sorry, you know, I mean, but that's what she was saying. And, you know, I mean, like normal, Travis was standing there trying to just not involve in it, you know. And DJ was trying to kind of break it up like normal. And that's usually how they went. And, you know, I tried to just, you know, not today. I don't need this crap today.
Okay. So now, this particular episode that you saw in that day, had you seen them, you used the word get into it before. So this was not the first day that you saw the two of them, to use your words, get into it.
No, ma'am.
So did it happen often? Did it happen? It was, you know.
I can't tell how frequently, but frequent enough that you remember it.
Okay.
You know, I seen him standing there with his arms crossed and her slapping him.
Okay.
And him just, I told DJ, I said, tell your brother, you know, there's no woman worth that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Estes. So now on this particular, let's go back to that day that what you saw with the two of them, right? Yes. At some point, did you not see them in the front yard arguing with one another? At some point, did that come to an end?
Yeah, I heard a car drive away.
Okay, all right.
And then I didn't hear nothing after that.
Now, did there come a point where you did hear something later on in the night after that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And can you tell the members of the jury what did you hear?
I just all of a sudden heard somebody yell, and then I heard a bunch of like slapping and hitting, and I got up and looked out the door, and there was two piles of people out in the front yard fighting.
Okay. You recall what time that was? Were you looking at your clock? If you know, you know. If you don't, that's fine.
It was late. It was probably after midnight.
Okay. All right. So now, in your residence, Mr. Estes, were you living alone? at the time?
At the time, my wife was up in Pennsylvania.
Okay. So you hear this noise, you get up and you look out your door, you said?
Yes, ma'am. My front door.
Okay. And you see people fighting.
Yes, ma'am.
And where were they fighting?
Out close to the road, like where his driveway is, there's a telephone pole, there's a light post that was, if you're looking at his house, it'd be to the right side of the house in the front corner of the yard. But some of them were over here by the driveway, some of them were over by the telephone pole.
Okay. All right. Now, could you make out like how many people you saw out there fighting?
I think I said before five or six or more, but like I said, there's two pals and somebody was getting the best of somebody over here and one would leave this pal and go over there and one,
Okay.
I think I explained like a ruckus.
Like a ruckus.
Yes.
Okay. So you just kind of saw people fighting and then you saw people jumping here and jumping there and then it was just fighting back and forth.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, how long would you say you stood there and watched the fighting?
Oh, it was not long at all because I thought, you got all these people fighting and everything nowadays, somebody's going to pull a knife or a gun.
Okay.
So I left the door and I went to my room and got my gun.
Okay. Now, you went to your room and got your gun. Now, let me ask you this. Did you go get your gun because you saw somebody out there pointing a gun, or you thought you saw someone with the gun during the fighting?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Why did you go get your gun?
Because there's 6 people out in front of my house fighting in a pile.
And you
It's better to have it.
protect yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Just in case it went really bad, you were thinking something just may go really bad.
Yes.
Okay. During this fight, did you ever see, and this is during the time that you were watching it, did you ever see anyone out of these 2 piles of people fighting? Did you ever see anyone in a position, like a stance, as though they were like pointing with their arm extended, as though they were pointing a gun at someone? Did you ever see that?
No, ma'am.
So now you said there are 2 piles of people fighting. They're going back and forth. You're looking at it. At any time at all, do you recall anyone? And I mean, obviously, you own a gun, right?
Yes, ma'am.
When you shoot your gun, do you extend your arm?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you send anyone with their arm extended like that?
No, ma'am.
Did you hear anyone yell the word gun?
No.
Did you think to yourself, other than because you saw the people fighting, did you think to yourself, in addition to me getting my gun, probably should call the police? Did you think that?
I thought about it and then I was thinking, well, Miss Linda was standing at the front door. She was yelling at them to stop and, I thought maybe they would have.
Okay. You thought maybe they would have called the police?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you said Miss Linda was standing at the front door. Did you ever see her leave her front door?
I don't remember.
Okay. When you went back there to get your gun in your room,
Yes, ma'am.
how long did it take you to go to your room, get your gun, and come back?
Maybe a minute. I mean, not long.
Okay.
It's not far away.
Did you do anything in between?
No, ma'am. I was coming back to the door and then I heard the first few pops of a gun.
Okay.
And then I went to the door, kind of peeking out towards the side, and I seen muzzle flashes.
Okay. So as you were heading back to the front door, that's when you heard the first 2 sounds of what appeared to be to you gunshots.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And did you go to the door to look out to see, like, are these people who were fighting firing guns?
I looked out the door and I seen the muzzle flashes.
Okay.
So I knew they were firing. Oh, I knew from the first that it was a gun.
Okay. Now, did you see the person who was firing the gun
After the firing stopped.
after it stopped?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So did you just kind of hang out at your front door just to see like what, because you hear these first couple of gunshots, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you just stand at your door?
Kind of to the side of the door, but yes, I could see.
All right. How many gunshots did you hear in all before it stopped?
The first time it was just a couple, and then the second round it opened up. It was 10, 15, I don't know how many shots.
Okay. So you said the first round it was just a couple.
Yeah.
Now, you said a couple, do you mean two or do you mean, because I use the word
Two or three.
Okay. All right. So maybe two or three.
Yeah.
Something like that. All right. And then you said it stopped.
Just for a second.
All right. And then it stopped for a second. And then how many gunshots did you hear after that?
A lot.
When it started back up?
10, a lot.
Okay. All right. Did you stay at your door the entire time until the gunshots stopped?
Pretty much.
So while you're standing at your door and the gunshots appear to you to have stopped, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you see?
I seen Travis walking back to his house.
And what was his appearance, if you recall?
He was just walking back to his house.
All right.
And he had what seemed to be like a AR type gun in his right hand.
Did you see anybody walking behind him?
Daryl came up after him. DJ.
Did you see anything in DJ's hand?
No, ma'am.
Did you see anything in either one of DJ's hands?
No, ma'am.
And you had a pretty good view of them, right? You could see them.
Yes, ma'am.
As you saw them come walking back up to their house, Mr. Estes, did you say anything to the Rudolph brothers? Did you say, hey, what just happened?
No.
Okay. What did you do?
I just turned around and I thought about it for a little while, and then I called 911.
Okay. So you called 911 after that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And
it was a little while, though. I mean, it was a little while before I called them, but I called them after.
I wonder what made him call 911 real deal. He said it was a little while before he called 911. My question is, why didn't he go over there to check on Travis? He dialed 911, right? Why he ain't check on Travis? What was the purpose of calling 911 if everybody was gone? And it didn't have nothing to do with him, right? Okay.
Thing after they went inside their house and stuff and everything.
okay. All right. And when you called 911, did you tell them that there had been a shooting out at your
I can't remember exactly, but yes, I told them that there had been a shooting out at my street.
So when you called them, you said it had been a little while, right? So when you say a little while before you called them, do you mean that the shooting stopped? You saw the Rudolph brothers go back to their house. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't call them immediately upon seeing them go back to their house. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
You waited.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You know how long you waited before you called?
No, I don't.
Okay. Before you called, did you see any law enforcement officers show up to the Rudolph house?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Is that what made you call, because you didn't see anybody showing up?
No, I guess the right thing to do. There's a shooting in my neighborhood.
Okay.
It's a nice, quiet little neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
Well, now y'all see how that is. Now he really didn't have to call the police because he knew Travis. He saw everything. Why? Is Travis a good neighbor and they mom and the neighbor know their mom, he knows Travis and the mom, why didn't he just come up there and say, Travis, man, you all right? What you call the police for? It's over with. But you know, it's not like he don't know Travis. Mm-mm.
At some point, did law enforcement arrive?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when they arrived, did you tell them, or did you walk out there and make them aware that you had seen what had happened earlier in the night?
I made a officer, they were standing in my front yard, and I made him aware that I called 911, that I seen it. Yeah.
Okay. And did they take a statement from you?
Yes, it was a while later, but yeah, a detective, I don't know, remember his name, but he knocked on the door and he came to the house.
Okay. And that would have been where he came to your house and took an actual recorded statement from you?
Yes, ma'am, that night.
Okay. That night, that same, or earlier,
Yeah.
later that day, is that?
Well, it was early morning.
So later on in the day
In the
is when you
morning.
gave your statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. After you gave your statement, did you meet with any other law enforcement officers? Did they meet with you about anything else?
I think somebody came to my house one day with a picture of Travis and his girlfriend, and asked me if that was who it was that I seen, and I said, yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other contact with law enforcement after that?
Your office.
Okay. Is that it?
Yes, ma'am, I think.
Okay. Judge, may I have a second, please?
You may.
Well, you shouldn't have called the police. They're gonna think you shot. They're gonna think you shot the gun.
Okay. Judge, can I step down once more?
Sure. I'll watch your step, Mr. Estes. He's going to need the microphone.
Judge, I apologize.
That's all right.
And only if you know, okay? So this is T Drive here. You see that? You pointed at your house. That's your house right there.
Yep.
And you said when you saw the shooting, you saw the muzzle flashes. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
What area? This is Redwood, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now what area did you see the muzzle flashes coming from?
It was down in his area.
Okay. All right. And is that where you saw all of the muzzle flashes coming from
Yes, ma'am.
until the shooting stopped?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when you saw Travis and his brother DJ walking back up, could you tell where they were coming from?
They were coming down the sidewalk. Right here's the sidewalk, and they were walking this way.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Estes.
Go ahead and back up to the witness stand. Thank you, sir. All right. Any additional questions? Okay. Any cross-examination of Mr. Estes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, please.
Good morning, Mr. Estes.
Morning.
How you doing?
Good.
You build power plants all over the world? I mean, all over the United States.
I used to.
Oh, okay. You retired from that?
Pretty much. I want to stay at home.
How many years did you do that for?
About 20, 30 years.
Okay. And the neighborhood you said is a nice, quiet neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
You also have a boat for fishing.
Yes, sir.
Are you also a hunter?
Used to be.
You familiar with guns?
Yes, sir.
And you familiar how to use them?
Yes.
All the time you lived in that home, can you tell us and share with us whether or not you ever, even up until today, into that area, have you ever went and got your gun before out of your bedroom?
No.
All right. Did you feel your life may have been in danger?
I was afraid. You know, there's a bunch of people out there fighting.
All right. Was this a real fight, or is this like a couple of kids playing around in a schoolyard?
I thought it was a real fight.
People were punching each other?
Yeah, punching, kicking. It was a fight, a ruckus.
It looked like someone's trying to kill somebody.
Somebody's trying to whoop somebody's ass.
Right? Possible could be some serious injury in this type of fight that you witnessed.
Like I said before, usually when you see something like that going on nowadays, somebody pulls a knife or a gun and it goes.
You don't know how this started, do you?
No.
All right. Let's. You said you were friendly with Miss Rudolph, right?
Yes, sir.
And you knew DJ pretty good or somewhat okay. You've spoken to him before, right?
Yeah, I know DJ better than I did Travis.
How come? Is there any reason why you didn't know Travis that well?
We just never had the opportunity really to sit down and talk. You know, I said hey to him. He'd say hey back.
All right. Did you know if Travis was practicing for football and not home on a regular basis?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you also help Miss Rudolph with any type of security in her home?
Yeah, she was having problems with her Ring doorbell, and I helped her hook that up.
Did you ever see cameras all over the outside of her home?
Yes, sir.
Why was she so concerned? Do you know why she was so concerned about?
Well, they had told me, I think, well, DJ about her.
Hold on.
Well, he was about to give a hearsay and response. So sustained and ask another question.
All right. Well, isn't it true you heard that from that Mr. Rudolph, the husband?
Objection, Your Honor.
I didn't finish my question.
Yeah, finish the question. Don't answer, Mr. Estes, until I say it's okay. All right, go ahead.
Isn't it true that you heard Mr. Rudolph was killed and then Miss Rudolph became very concerned about security?
Objection, Your Honor. Answer calls for hearsay, lack of foundation.
I'm offering for the truth.
Overruled.
Isn't that true, sir?
Yes.
All right. And you don't have those kind of security cameras in your house, do you?
No.
Okay. So she was a single woman living in that home with her sons, right?
Yes.
Isn't it true that DJ is a farmer type young man
Yes.
and he has animals in the backyard?
Yes.
Chickens?
Yep.
Dog?
I don't know if I've seen a dog or not. He has a rabbit that got out, and I had to help him catch it.
How about a potbelly pig?
I seen a pig.
Do you know if he also
Okay, I'm gonna skip it a little bit here. I'm tired of him.
Creator is the best
Break.
film of the year.
They took their lunch break. So let's now what I want to get to 3, y'all. A lot going on in day 3, okay? Now, this is good. Let me take, I think this is brother. Let me make sure.
You assigned to.
Patrol.
What does that entail?
Just answering calls for service throughout the city. Yeah.
Okay. Like 911 calls?
Yeah, 911 and
Hold on, y'all. Here we go. Let's start right here. Day 3 was one of my was more for me like an opening argument. You know what I mean? It was it was kind of interesting when it came up to Travis taking a stand. So I'm just trying to demonstrate to y'all how people, when they innocent, they take the stand. When they ain't do nothing, they take the stand. So in this case, Travis took the stand. He's gonna take the stand. If he ain't got nothing to lose, he ain't do nothing, so he can take the stand. Right? Trying to skip it.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay,
After we do this officer, possibly take a quick break, I'm sorry.
sure, yeah. 10 minutes?
5 minutes.
Okay, sure, absolutely. Absolutely.
You're okay with this?
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Clausy is going to now publish or play the body worn camera from the witness who testified yesterday.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No, not yet. Thank you. I'm going to play this video first.
Yeah, it was on 40th and Broadway. Go ahead and set the medics this way. 4015 Broadway. Hey, step back from me, step back from me. Please, okay. Please, bro. Okay, go back. Hey, what is this? What's wrong? We got medics. Second one, correct? Does he have a pulse? 10-4. This news probably gonna be 7 what's wrong. I have probably possibly 7 minutes. Remain sitting down, no good. Great. Oh, yeah. All right. All right, hey, let's try to take him out, bro. I don't know if it's me or him.
Seems like the cop would need to calm down.
Do you feel anything?
Stand here, face the clerk, raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Was not parked near the entrance of this abandoned auto shop?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yes. Was the vehicle pulled in towards the back of the corner of the abandoned auto shop or whatever that building was?
Yes.
And it was pulled in straight? If you're
Okay.
coming off the street, and it was parked towards the rear, correct?
Yes.
Facing the fence?
Mhm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
So the vehicle, when it pulled in, did it appear to you that it had made an attempt to park as far away from the street as possible?
Want to be heard on that objection?
Pardon?
Rephrase, please.
Was it parked near the street? Was it parked near Broadway?
It was pretty inside the business,
When you say pretty inside, what do you mean?
like in a diagonal way. I would say like maybe like 3 meters away from Broadway.
What away from Broadway?
Maybe 3 meters away from Broadway, maybe, I guess.
So was it parked in the most furthest distance from Broadway?
Yes,
Okay. Did you search the immediate area?
I did not.
You're aware that there was a fence there?
Not that I can recall, no.
Did you see a fence in what the body cam footage that we just saw?
I didn't notice a fence. I'm not saying there wasn't one, I just didn't really look at it.
Okay. Do you remember seeing a food truck back there?
I don't remember seeing a food truck, no.
Okay. But you didn't search the immediate area, is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Did any of the senior law enforcement officers that
was under the impression that this was like I don't know the relationship well enough to call it a healthy relationship, but a normal functioning relationship. So when someone calls you that upset, telling you that something like this has happened, it's obviously a bit confusing at first.
Okay. So you thought they didn't have this type of relationship. So when you heard that, that was
Correct.
okay, got it. So did you call other people? Did you call any of your friends to let them know what you'd been told by Miss Jones?
Yes, ma'am. I called Keyshawn initially, just to touch base with him, and because that's his actual sister, so I was assuming he spoke to her. Then I also called. Next, I believe I called Chris Lowe. He was at home. I'm not sure what he was doing, working out or something. He was sleeping, I think. He said he was getting in the shower or something like that. So he was gonna come over.
Meaning come over to where you lived?
Come to my house, just at my own house.
By this time, you weren't living with the Joneses anymore. You had your own place.
Yes, I had my own place with the roommate though.
What about Sebastian? Did you call him as well?
Yeah, I called Sebastian a few times, I believe. He was, I think he was at Flanagan's, or he was doing something like that, and he said he had to go home first, and then he was going to come over.
So the plan was then for everybody to come to your residence. Is that correct? That they would be coming over to your apartment that you shared with someone else?
Correct.
Who got to your residence first, if you recall?
I remember. I think it was Chris or Sebastian, one of them two, because we were waiting for Keyshawn
Okay.
last.
So when everybody was together, did you get the impression that you all were gonna go to anywhere after leaving your apartment?
Yes, to speak with Travis.
Did you know where Mr. Rudolph lived at the time?
I didn't. I knew the area, but like specifically how to get there and stuff. I wasn't exactly sure. That's why we were waiting on Keyshawn.
So you didn't know the exact numerical, but you know the general area.
Correct.
What about Keyshawn? Was he more familiar with our residence than you?
Yeah, Keyshawn's much more familiar.
And did you get into Mr. Jones's car? Or was it someone else's car that was used to transport you to Mr. Rudolph's residence?
Keyshawn didn't have a car at the time, so we had to take his mom's car.
Okay. Was Keyshawn driving mom's car?
Yes.
Is that the black Cadillac?
Yes.
Where did you get in the vehicle on the ride over?
I got in on the passenger right side.
So is that the
Back
front
seat.
passenger?
Back. I got in the back seat. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, on the ride there.
On the way there, I was sitting in the front seat, because I was the one, like when you go out, like I just call shotgun, so I was the one sitting shotgun, and
Okay.
then that's like a reference to the person who gets to sit in the front seat. So it was kind of like, it's not a game, but just a joke. Whoever calls it first gets to sit there, and then you get to play the music and stuff. So I was sitting in the front.
What was your demeanor like around the time that you're getting into this car with your friends?
My demeanor.
Yeah, were you still upset?
Yes, but at this point, so much time had passed that it was more or less turning into like, it almost seemed like a chore to go over there. Like as we waited for Keyshawn and as time go by, it just seemed less and less serious. But
All right, let me see if we can get the timeline together then. Approximately what time is Dominique telling you about the altercation with her boyfriend?
this is like around 10 or something, around that time, like 10 o'clock, I believe.
Okay. So by the time you're making your way over to Mr. Rudolph's house, approximately what time is that?
It's like getting close to midnight, I think, like
Okay.
around that time.
So it had been at least an hour or more since you'd heard.
Yeah.
Okay. Prior to getting in the vehicle, were any text messages exchanged between you, Dominique, and Keyshawn? Do you remember anything about shoot his shit up or something like that?
Yeah. Dominique texted me and Keyshawn, go shoot his shit up.
And what did you take from that message? How, if at all, did you react to that message?
Just Dominique being herself. When she's angry, she tends to blow things out of proportion at times. I don't want to say exaggerate because it's hard to say what somebody's truly feeling or if she is feeling that way, or if that's just how she's reacting. But when she texts stuff like that to my phone, I don't really take it too seriously.
Okay. So by that time, you'd been well enough acquainted with Dominique that that message did not send you into a rage.
No, not that message in particular, because she kind of acts that way, and when she gets mad at me or Keyshawn or she's just I think they came to
I'm gonna skip a little.
I guess photographs is
You had?
yes, ma'am. I don't have a gun safe, so this is kind of the next best option. That's why you used to store it.
And this again was in your possession at your home when the detectives came over to take photographs?
Correct.
And does this accurately reflect what that Taurus looked like, both closed and then open?
Correct.
At this time, state would offer into evidence states 62A through C.
Thank you. 62A through C is admitted without objection.
Moving now to state 63. Again, if you could take a look at the items in the photographs and let me know whether or not you recognize that.
Yes, ma'am. I recognize this is a firearm bill of sale.
And is this the bill of sale between yourself and someone else for the same 9mm Taurus that was in your pocket on the night of this incident?
Yes, ma'am.
And who was the seller of the firearm?
Keyshawn Jones.
And Mr. Jones sold that firearm to you?
Yes, he sold that firearm to me.
And do these pages accurately reflect that bill of sale between the two of you for that firearm?
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, say would offer into evidence states 63.
Thank you. Submitted without objection.
Thank you. Permission to publish, Judge? First, starting with states 61, the receipt. And Mr. Robinson, you identified that this was Mr. Jones's original receipt for the purchase of the firearm from the Delray Shooting Center.
Correct.
Also purchased that day was a magazine for that same firearm. Is that correct?
Correct.
And it looks like the gun guard or box that we were seeing in states 62. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. At this time, state would request permission to publish state 62. Showing state 62A. Is that the gun box that we've been discussing?
Yes.
And obviously the box is closed. 62B, is that now the box when it was opened?
Yes.
And when the items on top were removed so that you could see the contents?
Yes.
Okay. At this point, did you still have that 9mm Taurus gun?
When these pictures were taken?
Yes, when the police came to your house to take the photographs.
No, ma'am.
Did you leave it in the location where you dropped it that night when you were trying to get help?
Yes, ma'am.
And what were the police doing at your residence? Checking to make sure you didn't have anything else?
No, they just wanted to make sure that the firearm was legally mine and legally obtained. And
Okay.
Did you have any other firearms?
no, ma'am.
Okay, y'all. That's one of the guys who was who ran up on Travis. Okay, came to his home to attack him. All right, y'all. I don't think he came to his home. I don't know what they come there for, but they had a gun. Real deal, y'all put in your chat, fill the chat up with y'all reaction. And this is one of the trials that really interests me. And the next one coming up, okay? I'm out.